Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody, and welcome to February. So hey, it is Saturday, February 3rd, right at 1:30 in the afternoon. Temperature is a cool 55 degrees and the humidity is about 45%. Walking out into the yard, nice activity. I'll show you that here in a second, and this will be the start to February's compilation video. I'll share what I plan on doing this month, and then just stay tuned and check out how the month goes. So again, early afternoon hours, some of the hives are still in the shade, mainly number 1 and number 2 down there, but they do have some nice activity. 3, the one that was reduced down to a 5 frame, just saw a bee bring in some pollen, and the rest are doing well with some nice activity. The hives were booming yesterday. So I'm just gonna keep a close eye on the temperature, but maybe later this afternoon I'll come out and treat the hives with some oxalic acid, and that will take care of them for February. And if you didn't see as I was walking in, got some swarm traps hung. I'm actually gonna get with Paul over at Warden's Farm. I mentioned him a few times. Maybe I'll leave a link to his channel in the description, or do something up top here, how folks always point and it's usually off a little bit. Maybe I'll try my hand at that, but yeah, check out his channel. So I'm gonna get with him sometime over the next 2 weeks, and we're actually gonna build a few more swarm traps. So these are my faithful 2 well-used traps that I think I made in 2019. Rough cut woodworking skills by yours truly. They have seen better days, and I'll show you what I mean. These things are plagued with all sorts of gaps. They are not well sealed, not that that matters because they work. But I do want to hang some more traps this year because I want to catch more bees, and what not a better way to do it than get with somebody that knows what they're doing and get some help, which is one of the cool things about having friends that keep bees and that also live pretty close to you. So that's pretty much it. Treat the bees. I'll get into them maybe later this month, reverse some boxes, and then just continue to prepare for the journeyman test, which is the next certification level for the North Carolina State Beekeeping Association, and that will take place in New Bern, March 6th, 7th, or 8th. The conference I think is the 6th and the 7th, and then testing is on Saturday, but that'll be something for maybe next month's video. One last quick look at some entrance activity, and then I'll just put together the video for the month of February. So it's been about 2 hours since the introduction video. It's just after 3:30, same day, and I am out here to do 2 rather quick things. The first being, I'm gonna pop the tops and check the sugar supplies. Most likely they're due for a resupply, so I'll take care of that as quick as possible without trying to disturb the hives too much. And then the second thing, I have the InstaVap out here. So I'm going to treat all the hives with 3 grams of oxalic acid, and that should take care of them for the month of February. So the weather is about the same, 55 degrees. The bees are still flying. So that's kind of the tricky part with popping the tops. I'm going to smoke them real quick, try to calm them down, but try not to disturb them too much, like I said, and then give them a quick treatment, and that'll be it for today. All right, down here at hive number 1, just gonna simply pop the lids, check some sugar supplies. We're still working on it, but since I'm out here, it only makes sense to resupply them, right? Yeah, hive number 2, we can use some more. Hive number 3, yeah, they're making good use of it. So I'll top them off. Let's see, 4, Yeah, why not, right? 5. I actually put a little more this past week than previous times since having the issue with number 3 running out of food. So it looks like they're actually making good use of it. They still have a decent amount left. This hive here goes through some food stores, so they need some. They could use some. Last one. They could probably use some too. So yeah, I'm glad I took a look, because whichever hive that was, they had absolutely none. So yeah, I'm just gonna top them off real quick. Nothing really fascinating to show you, and then show you some clips of treating the hives. Got about 2 to 3 pints of dry sugar on all the hives, all set up down here at hive number 1 with the InstaVap. Get this thing going, turn it on, let it heat up, take a minute or two. Got the oxalic acid right there, and about to put on my PPE, and maybe 10 minutes, give or take, all the hives will be treated for February. Pretty simple, very effective, very efficient, and I truly believe treating the hives as much as we have this past year with oxalic acid and with the InstaVap, I believe that is why we've had the overwintering success that we had this past year versus the previous year. All right, yeah, it doesn't take long to heat up, maybe a minute, 90 seconds, 3 grams. See the temp drop. Usually drops about 400 or just above 400. You can see some of the vapor seeping out, which is fine. You're not going to have a totally sealed colony. But one of the cool things about blocking the entrance, you can see all the bees coming home from foraging. And yeah, right here, if we watch this bee, they're loaded up with some very nice bright orange pollen. So here you go, less than a minute. Once it gets back to 445, it's done. And then we can move to the next one. I'll show you that here in a second. And all I do is this. I just grab it from here. I have the next hive prepped with a towel. Just grab your jar, container of oxalic acid. Load it up. And there you go. This one's being treated. And then yeah, check this out. You don't think that thing puts off a lot of vapor. So if you didn't catch the previous video, I come back. It's hard to do with one hand. So I come back and just try to close up the entrance as best as I can with this towel as this hive's being treated. And that's that. That's all there is to it. Since doing that, this one's already at 4:30, so it'll be done here in a second. Just do the same for the rest of your colonies. Here it is, February 8th, right at 12:30, about 55 degrees. I've noticed a lot of bees on the pollen feeder in the last week or so, even though they've been bringing in a lot of natural pollen. So let's take a quick look at the yard. I brought out some pollen just to top off the feeder. Only one mason jar's worth. But yeah, all the hives are pretty active. So let's top off the feeder just in case they need some. Yeah, this is the first time I've given them pollen in quite a few weeks. Our maples are about to start blooming, but I guess it never hurts to just have some extra in the meantime. Just a quick 24-hour follow-up. So it's February 9th, just after 12:30, about 55 degrees, same temperature as yesterday, and almost the same amount of bees on the feeder. So I'm assuming they're still bringing in a lot of natural pollen, but it never hurts to have a backup plan or emergency supply. Yeah, hives are actually pretty active given the weather. Not very sunny today, pretty overcast, but this is the hive that I've really been keeping a close eye on just because of what happened last month. But yeah, that'll do it for today. So here is the next segment in February's video. So it's Saturday, February 10th, right at 12 o'clock. Temperature is 74 degrees. Humidity is about 57%. Not too many bees at all on the pollen feeder. And let me show you why. The yard is extremely busy, and these bees are bringing in a ton of what I'm assuming is natural pollen. So hey, given the fantastic weather and activity today, I've decided to come out here and do a few quick things. Just gonna pop the tops, check the mountain camp sugar supplies, resupply them and if need be, and then for the majority of the hives that have a top box, a medium, I'm gonna take a look into them, maybe pull a frame or two, see if the queen has started rearing some brood in the top box. If so, take that box off, do the same in the bottom box, and kind of figure out like where the colony is at. And I might actually reverse some boxes today going into March. So it'll give them about 2 to 3 weeks to move things around. And then for the month of March, I don't know, I might leave them as is or reverse them to put the deeps back into their normal location on the bottom, because around early April is when I typically add honey supers, or in this case, I'll add the queen excluder. So the top box becomes the honey super. So yeah, that's all I'm really gonna do today. The hives are looking great. I have one deep right here that doesn't have a top box, so if they need some extra space, I have some drawn comb. I'll add them, or I'll add the box to them to give them the space. But yeah, this is fantastic to see. So yeah, thanks for joining me in the next segment for February's compilation video. And then before we know it, spring will be here. I think we're about 38 days away from the official start of spring. And then I will stop with the compilation videos and then share the usual weekly inspection videos with y'all. But yeah, February 10th, if you can believe it or not, in eastern North Carolina. It feels absolutely great out here. Like I said in the intro, let's pop the tops, check the sugar supplies. Took a few minutes just to clean up some equipment that's not in use, just scraping the frames and the boxes, so it's just one less thing to do later this season when I need them. All right, they actually have a decent amount of sugar left, which kind of tells me, oh, there goes that, which tells me they are probably finding some natural resources and don't necessarily need the sugar that I've provided them. Well, they've used about half of theirs. Okay. Oh yeah, they're definitely on theirs. That's a good sign. Yeah, they're making use of theirs as well. Same here. Not as much. I think this is the hive that's going to be very full. They've used a lot of their sugar each time. Same with them. They're doing pretty good. And then this entrance activity on the very last hive is very impressive. But yeah, they're using theirs as well. All right, yeah, I'm just gonna get into the hives, take a look at the top box, see how that's looking with brood, and then possibly reverse some boxes today. First quick look at hive number 1, and it looks like they are definitely in the top box. I'm gonna hit them with some smoke, remove a frame or two in the center, and if they have some brood, take a look at the bottom box, do the same thing, and that'll be my determination to reverse the boxes or not today. All right, check this out. Frame number 4 in the top box. What do you think? I'd say they're doing pretty darn good. Yeah, she's laying up here too. So capped brood, some larvae, and then some eggs off to the left. Quick look at the other side. Yeah, same thing. Got some drone cells right there. Those ones protruding. Yeah, she is doing good. So, all right. Get into the bottom box. See if they have any brood. If not, reverse these boxes. All right, just a quick look at the bottom box. It looks like the majority of the colony is right here in the center, which is not unusual to expect that. So, again, pull a few frames, see if they have some brood, and it looks like the outside 6, these 3 and these 3 are pretty empty, so they're a pretty good candidate to reverse today. All right, I'm not really too sure what to make of this, but we have an unmarked queen in this hive, so I'm just gonna cage her, try and cage her, get her marked, and just kind of go from there, really. All right, got the boxes reversed. A lot of brood in the bottom box, a little bit in the top box, not much, but by doing this, it'll prompt the bees and the queen to start moving up. And the last thing I thought I would do today is mark a queen. So I marked her with a red dot for last year because I highly doubt they have swarmed or superseded this year. I mean, I could be wrong, but it is what it is for now. I do have a green marker for this year, but that's what happened with hive number 1 today. All right, down here at hive number 2. So first frame of brood on frame number 4. I can already see frame number 5 has some brood too, but I'll show you that real quick. So I've decided to, I'm just gonna add a box to this colony to give them some extra room. We got some bees doing waggle dances over here, so they are communicating that there is a nectar source close by. And that is very evident because there's a lot of wet cells in this colony, so they're bringing something in. And yeah, right here, some uncapped brood. So I'm just looking out for the queen. Really just curious to see if she's marked, since I found an unmarked queen in hive number 1. But yeah, number 2 looking good. They're just gonna get a box directly on top. All right, down here at number 3, this was that very strong colony that I ended up reducing to a 5 frame because they just had a major die out. So I'm actually not really going to do anything with them except give them more space in the form of another 5 frame box that has all drawn comb, and then hopefully they can make some use of this over the next few weeks. I'll take a look at them close to March and then decide whether or not they need to get moved back into a 10 frame. So that's it for number 3 today. All right, quick look at number 4's top box. Similar to maybe number 1, they have a lot of bees up here, so I'm anticipating on finding some brood. If I find the queen, fantastic. Same thing, quick look at the bottom box and then make a decision to reverse them, but most likely they'll probably need to be reversed just to help build up the colony, building up the spring. All right, so I'm on frame number 5. They have some uncapped brood right there in the center. Same on this side, to include what looks like eggs. So she's definitely up in the top box. Just gonna go through the rest of the frames briefly, or maybe at least another 1 or 2. And then get into the bottom box. and see if they need to be reversed. So this colony did have a lot of honey stores from the winter, or actually from the fall, which was goldenrod, which seemed to suit them pretty well. As usual, just a quick first look at the bottom box on hive number 4. Most of the colony, I imagine, is right here outside. 2 frames and 3 frames look kind of empty, so let's see how they're looking and go from there. All right, I'm on frame number 4. They have some nice brood, and in fact I just looked down on the frame number 5 and I saw the queen on this side closest to us. Yep, there she is right there. So let's cage her just because it gives me peace of mind. Yeah, she still has a red dot from last year, so I'll set her aside, and then I'm gonna reverse these boxes just to prompt her to start building up in the bottom box and then build their way up. But yeah, she's doing a nice job. That's at least 3 to 4 frames. All right, so they're reversed for the rest of February, maybe some of March. Let's get her released. She just needs to turn around, figure it out. Shit. Alright, there she goes, down into the colony. Perfect. Alright, you guessed it, same thing for number 5. They look about the same. A lot of bees in the top box, so same exact procedure. Pull a few frames, look for brood. If I can find the queen, great. If not, get into the bottom box, do the same thing, and most likely reverse the 2. So frame number 2, we got some brood right there. But wait until I pull this next frame. Number 3 looks packed. This is a picture-worthy frame. Check this out. Good Lord, this queen is doing good. Same thing on this side. Check that out. Same thing on the next frame too. This is awesome. All right, we got the queen over here on frame number 4. What's kind of unique about this colony is they're moving very erratic, almost like they're queenless, but they're not. They do have some brood in the bottom box, but they have a ton in the top box, so that's enough for me to make a decision to reverse them. All right, we got them reversed. There is the queen. Yep. All right, that's that. All right, down here at number 6, they have the shim with some sugar on cardboard. I just pulled that off real quick because I thought it was going to be more difficult than it was, but it wasn't. So they actually don't look like they have a lot of bees in the top box at all. Nonetheless, I'm going to go through them. Same thing, get into the top, bottom box and figure out where to go from there. All right, so out of the entire top box, this is frame number 9. I have a small patch of brood that faces east and another that faces west. Take a look at the last frame together, but I don't know, not too sure what I want to do with this one yet. Still need to get into the bottom box and see if that's looking a little better than the top. All right, very similar to the top box. So this is frame number 8, which has the first signs of any queen production. So no kidding, even though the brood doesn't look the best, this whole section here is eggs. I have not seen the queen at all, and this is a very small colony. The next frame, number 9, looks better, but I have my concerns. They have surprisingly made it this far this year, but at the same time, I don't know, I'm just gonna keep my eye on them. I was thinking about reducing them to a 5 frame. I'm not going to do that this week. I'm actually not going to do anything. I'm just going to leave them alone and see how they look come March. Now, I did not remove the very last frame. She could be on there. This frame also looks like it has like, yeah, some really weird comb development. That's probably going to get scraped down this year, but for now, I'm just going to leave them alone and just kind of see how they do over the next month or so. Down here at number 7, they're a single deep, but I plan on adding a medium box just because I feel like it's time to take a quick look, just like the rest of them, but figured it's not a bad idea to give them some extra space. All right, quick first look at the bottom box. Kind of the same with most of the hives. Colonies right in the middle, but still go frame by frame and see how they're looking. All right, right here on frame number 5, the queen is trying to avoid me, but I don't think she saw that I noticed her. So yeah, frame number 5, small patch of brood on that side, same on this side. Let's take a look at the next frame real quick, but be pretty simple. Just gonna put them back together. Yeah, so she's slowly building up. Yeah, and I can see some eggs over here. All right, let's give them an extra box, and that's it. All right, let's get her released. They got an extra box, so hopefully she'll use that space. There you go. I am very curious to see how number 8 looks, because I think this is the hive that consumes the majority of the sugar every single time. So I smoked them pretty heavy, drove all the bees off, but yeah, no kidding. This hive goes through a lot of sugar, so I'm curious to see how they look as far as brood goes. Also not surprised to see this many bees in the top box. I'm sure we'll find a few frames of brood, and then again move to the bottom box and make a decision to reverse them or not. All right, so frame number 4, the side that faces towards the interior of the hive, has some uncapped brood. But check this out, frame number 5. Yeah, they're looking nice. She's definitely been in the top box for, I'd say, a while. Same thing on the next frame, number 6. So just like the previous hives. And there she is right there. Let's cage her. Just like the previous hives, I'll go ahead and reverse the boxes. All right, she's safe. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that real quick, and that'll be it for number 8. Let's get her released. Come on. There you go. All right, that's it for this one. All right, down here at number 9, they got a ton of bees on the sugar, so hit them with a lot of smoke. But yeah, let's get into them, see how they're doing. Most likely reverse them, but we'll have to take a look first. All right, same as usual. Take a look at the top box real quick. A lot of bees up here. Pretty strong feeling we're gonna find some brood, but you don't know until you look, so let's take a look. All right, frame number 5. Check this out. A lot of wet cells, and just like the last hive, peek down at the next frame, and I noticed the queen on this side. She was marked. She may have moved to this side, or she may have noticed me and decided to disappear into the bottom box. But yeah, definitely saw the queen like 2 seconds ago. But yeah, she's up here. Check out that frame. Cap brood, open brood, some larvae right above it. Huh. Let's see if she let's see if she moved to the next one real quick. Maybe. Maybe not. Alright, well, I'm confident I'll find her and I'll show that to you. But yeah, they're definitely in the top box. They're queen right.
I'll see if I can find her, but I'll probably end up reversing the 2 boxes. Quick look at the bottom box and do some cleanup. They got some bridge comb, bird comb built between the boxes, which is totally normal. Pretty confident the queen's down here since I saw her in the top box. And it looked like she scooted down to the bottom box after she noticed me, but we'll see. Really curious to see if they have any brood down here. There we go, frame number 6 in the bottom box. Some nice cat brood surrounded by open brood. Take a look at the next frame real quick together, which looks just as nice. Yeah, they're doing okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and reverse them. Just gonna go through the rest of the frames real quick, more out of curiosity than anything. But yeah, they have nice food stores too. They're bringing in a ton of pollen, and surprisingly they have quite a few wet frames, so they're finding nectar from somewhere. But yeah, they're looking pretty good. All right, very last hive. Let's give them the last little bit of smoke I have available. Get them out of the top box and see how they're looking. All right, quick first look at the top box. Not surprised to see the amount of bees up here that I do. My frame kind of fell through, but yeah, just pull a few, same as usual. See how the brood's looking in both boxes and most likely reverse them. Well, that was pretty quick. Frame number 4, got the queen. So same thing, just cage her for safety. That way nothing happens to her. All right, there we go. Now I can move around without having to worry about squishing her. One last first look. So here's the bottom box. They have a lot more bees than most of the colonies, and they are favoring the right side of the box, which I haven't said this in a while. So that's west. So the west side of the box gets the majority of the sun in the afternoon, so maybe that's why they like that side of the box. Because the east side, the left side, is completely empty. All right, frame number 3. Yeah, she's been busy playing in the bottom box, moving up to the top box. Let's see how frame number 4 looks. Yeah, just as nice. We got some drone brood too, about to hatch in the next few days. All right, that's it for this one. All right, let's get her released. There she goes. Get everything put back together. And that is it. That is much as I plan on getting into the hives for the month of February. I'll pop the tops in a week or two just to check the sugar supplies, but yeah, that's it for me. All right, there you have it, folks. That was a lot more than I anticipated doing today, but at the same time, that is all I anticipate doing for the month of February. So it's just after 2 p.m. It's about 77 degrees. Let's do a quick recap. But yeah, no kidding. Hive number 1, I reversed them. Number 2, I added a box. 3, I added a box. 4 was reversed, 5 was reversed. 6 I left alone just because they're a pretty small colony. I'm gonna keep my eye on them. 7, doesn't look like I reversed them or I added a box to one of these 2. And then 8, 9, and 10 looking very strong, and all 3 were reversed. So there you have it. About mid-February, reversed some boxes, queen right, ended up marking a queen, and that's pretty much it. So hey, for the next segment in February's video, I'm over here with Paul at Warden's Farm, and he's going to help me make some swarm traps. So it's February 11th, right after 10 o'clock. We're just getting set up, but I'll show you the instructions real quick. These are the same instructions I used many years ago. I'll put a link down in the description, but
you can build 3 traps out of 1 sheet of plywood. So I'll just show you some clips from today's work and then the final product. Get them sanded down, stained, and the goal is to get them hung up over on my property around the end of February.
So we'll do this one. And I always do one at a time just because you gotta account for the saw blade too. All right, here we go.
We just finished making the first trap. Took about an hour to make all the cuts, so about 20 minutes per box. And here we are working on the second trap. All right, round 2 is complete. Getting slightly more efficient. That took just less than an hour, so maybe we'll be able to get this last sheet of plywood done in 30 to 40 minutes. And then we will assemble 3, 6, 9 swarm traps today. All right, well, as you can see, I'm back home. I had to take off pretty quick from Paul's right as we finished up because it's Sunday and our daughter has gymnastics. But yeah, 2 sheets of plywood makes about, well, makes 6 swarm traps. So maybe later today or just throughout the week, I'm gonna take the time to assemble them, sand them, and stain them with a stain and sealer. Kind of TBD what brand and color I'm gonna go with, but whatever I can find at Lowe's should do just fine, and they should last quite a few years. So big shout out to Paul over at Warden's Farm. Please go ahead and check out his channel. I'll put a link to him down in the description, as well as the build plans. But yeah, that does it for me for this Sunday. All right, here it is the following weekend. I'm just finishing up a few last touches on the boxes, mainly these side pieces, just to keep the lid a little more secure. So once I'm done with this, we'll get to putting on the back brace. I'll show you that here in a second, just to make it a little easier to secure the traps to trees this year. Just another quick look at the lid. That's the piece I just put on. It's not the most precision cuts, so I didn't glue that side. I just nailed it in like you saw, but ended up gluing that side. But what I'm very proud of, for the first time in years, check this out. I actually have a 5-frame swarm trap. And if you don't know what I'm talking about or why I'm excited, the previous boxes I made quite a few years ago, first time doing it, not really sure what I was doing. All my cuts were a little off, and I've only had 4-frame swarm boxes for the last 4 or 5 years. So again, first time having a 5-frame swarm trap, which I'm very excited for. All right, here's my idea for the back brace. So this is a 1x6 piece of treated lumber, not that that really matters, and some eye bolts that I'll fix in after I fix the 1x6 to the back. But first I'm gonna stain it just so I know underneath the back brace is stained for total protection, and then stain the 1x6, and then basically nail it down, glue and nail it, and then fix the eye bolts. But the idea is to make it a little easier to fix the swarm traps to the trees, because the previous years I've just been wrapping a ratchet strap all the way around a swarm trap, which it works, but I'm just trying to make things a little easier this season. All right, decided to go with Valspar's semi-transparent. It's advertised as a 1-coat exterior stain and sealer. And then the fine details down here somewhere: 6-year guarantee on decks, 8-year guarantee on fences and siding. So if I get 5 years out of this, I'd be pretty happy. So that's 1 coat. I plan on doing 2. It's got about a 4-hour dry time. All these swirl marks you see was from glue, because this wood was actually used as a lifting platform a few years ago. But so far so good. I'm just gonna do the other boxes, come back in 4 hours, put another coat on, and that'll be it for the backs. and then I'll attach that back bracket brace so I can mount the traps to the trees, and I'll show you all that, of course. So 1 down, 5 to go. Just finished the second coat on the first side, and since I was out here, I applied 1 coat on the bottom and 1 coat on the other side, and that is it for today. I'll be out here first thing in the morning to apply a second coat for the other side, the bottom. I'll hit the sides at some point tomorrow, take care of the lids, and once everything's dry by maybe tomorrow evening, I'll drill some entrance holes and some vents, stain the lids, and I should be ready by Monday or Tuesday. All right, I feel like we are in the home stretch. So it's Monday, February 19th. I got a box over here ready to cut the hole for what will be the entrance. And I was gonna label each of the traps 1 through 6, but I figured why take the time to do that when I have different colored discs that will serve as the entrance. And then I'm gonna put a vent on each side, try something different this year, or this time around with making the traps. And because I'm slightly OCD, this is the back brace that I will put on last, but I am using that as a jig to find the center. This was another scrap piece of wood, which is the same side as the handles there, or on the side of the lids. I'm using this as a jig to basically get every single trap to be the same as far as where the entrance will be on the front. So there you go. Again, slightly OCD, but they're my traps and I'm making them how I want. But yeah, so I'm just gonna finish up. And before anybody asks, the back braces, unfortunately, I ran out of stain, but fortunately, it's treated pine, so no need to worry about rot or anything as it's exposed to the elements. But yeah, here we go. About to finish this project up, and the plan is to get them hung either probably later today or most likely tomorrow, because before I completely finish everything, I'm going to melt some beeswax and coat the inside of the trap. JP, the bee man down in New Orleans, he had a video that explained that. But yeah, if you have some wax, just melt it. I have some more foam brushes, and I'm just gonna paint like a little part on the inside, drop a few drops of lemongrass oil into the wax while it's still hot so it really infuses in it, and that should get the bees interested in the traps. Just a quick update, got all the boxes outfitted with their vents and entrances, and now it's time to hang the back brace. So I'm just going to use the same 1x6 as a jig for spacing purposes, and then actually put or place the back brace right about there or so. And then my idea this year, or this time around, is to use some of the eye bolts on the outside, so it'll just make it that much easier to secure it to a tree. But TBD, we'll see, should work. It's not rocket science, but just trying to put some thought into it this time around because these traps last quite a few years. Last step before placing them into a tree to try and capture some free bees. So you can see we got the back braces on, eye bolts are installed. Hopefully that helps attach the swarm traps to a tree a lot easier than trying to swing a ratchet strap all the way around the boxes. So I got some beeswax over here heating up. Gonna completely melt it down and then simply take another foam brush, and I'm gonna brush the inside of the trap, the back, front, and both sides, just a little bit, and then the lid as well. And then for the final step with baiting the hives, I'm going to take some lemongrass oil, and while that wax is still hot, it's going to dry quickly, but while it's still hot, spray it once or twice with some lemongrass oil, and that should help attract the bees to the traps. Hey, so I decided to come out here in the bee yard. So it is currently 60 degrees and 36% humidity at 3 in the afternoon. I'm gonna take down the old traps since I made 6 new ones. I'm just waiting on the wax to melt so I can bait them, spray them with some lemongrass oil, as I previously said. But I came out here to show y'all the activity in the yard. So it is 29 days until the official start of spring, but check out how busy these hives are. Can't wait for spring to kick off, reverse some of the boxes to get them in the right position, and just watch the bees just bring in the nectar and cure it to honey. All right, the wax has been melting away for about 30 minutes, and I'll show you exactly what I have in mind, just real quick, because it dries fast. There you go. And I'm just going to do that inside the traps, back, front, each side, and then get them hung. All right, last box. Pretty easy. It is pretty quick. Just put some hot wax on the inside. Hit it with a few sprays of oil, and that's it. I'm gonna get these hung right now. Carry them out to the yard, get them hung in a few favorite spots that seem to catch a ton of bees, and then just sit back and watch the show, really. All right, that's that. Got to get the trap up in the tree, and if you've had bees before, you have the advantage of having a drawn comb, which I believe is part of the trick, but I'll share something else with y'all that I did last year for the first time, and it seemed to work pretty well. Just take an old pill bottle. I usually put a few cotton balls in there, but we're running low on cotton ball supplies right now. And then just give it a few good sprays, and that should help keep the lemongrass oil smell going for a week or two. All right, that's all there is to it. I'm gonna get this up in one of my favorite trees, and hopefully we start catching some bees in a few weeks. Just got done hanging the last trap, so it's 5 o'clock. Temperatures dropped a good bit. It's 53 degrees. Absolutely no activity on the entrance, the hive entrances, but let me just show you the swarm traps. So I didn't number them, like I said earlier in the video, because the discs each have different colors, or different colors per trap. So this one right here by the street is the red one. Caught quite a few swarms from that location. This location was very hot last year, so that would be the white trap. I was gonna hang one here, either on one of these trees, but decided not to, and instead, decided to hang one right here on the path. It's pretty high up, so I guess that'll be also an interesting point. That is the highest trap that I have set out, so we'll see how that does. If you want to call it number 4 or not, it's the purple trap right here by the backyard, and this location has caught quite a few swarms as well. This is a new location in the opposite corner of the yard than the last trap that I'll show you here in a second. So just an experiment to see how the yellow trap does this year. And last but not least is the green trap over here in the corner of the yard that I've used before. This has been a good location, so we'll see how this one fares for the season. That will do it for February. So today is Saturday, February 24th, right at 12:30. Our Accurate backyard weather station says the temperature is 64 degrees and 39% humidity. We have a few days over the next week with a few low temperatures in the low 30s, but not freezing. So it looks like we might be in the clear, because we are now 24 days away from spring. I'll give you one last quick look at the yard. Haven't made any changes since the inspection video portion of this video. The boxes are still reversed, and like I said, I I will get into them, re-reverse them in early March, obviously depending on the weather. We got the swarm traps still up. No activity, but that is to be expected for right now. But come another 2 weeks, give or take, about early March, or that first week of March, I definitely expect to see some bees checking out the swarm traps or moving in. All right, one last look at the yard. Nice activity on all the hives. Spring is right around the corner and can't wait. I have a feeling it's gonna be a really good season. All right, folks, again, hey, thanks for tuning in. And if this is your first time, we would appreciate it if you subscribe. And I wanna show one last thing, and I kind of doubt this will come up on camera, but hopefully it does. Right there, our red maples have finally started to bloom over here in our yard. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Check out the next video, which should be about the end of March. I might make another compilation video, and that'll be the final one for this year, because at the end of March, especially rolling into April, things should definitely kick up. And then, like I said in the last video, I'll start sharing my typical weekly and bi-weekly inspection videos. All right, everybody, thanks for watching.